What is up, everyone? We are back with episode 29. My calculations July, in about July 22nd, 23rd ish, we should be caught up with the show. And then we can start like slowing the pace down and doing some editing and just getting ready for just taking a week at a time and working on other projects on the channel. So end of July, we should be caught up to Power Word Fell. We've been doing an episode a day. We've stuck with it. Even that one day we missed, we still did an episode. We just released it with another episode and combined them. So yeah, I hope you guys have been enjoying this. We are technically at the halfway point. Math is hard, but we have Carlos here to teach us. But I'm not gonna get into math. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this started. I skipped an episode because it was a holiday episode. Grant was the DM, and I forget who were the players, but there was a holiday episode. I'm not reviewing the holiday or the special episodes, and I think there's 2 special episodes and there's 1 holiday episodes. But you should definitely check those out. I heard those are a lot of fun. I have not watched those or listened to those myself, but I think they're on YouTube too. Well, at least one of them, the holiday one. I might be thinking of an older holiday one. Anyway, holiday special episode. Skipped it. You don't skip it. Go watch it. Episode 29 starts off with more fan mail. Like I said, they start to do fan mail more often. If you are a Patreon subscriber to a certain tier, you can request to have a shout out on the show. So subscribe, join their Patreon. They treat you right. All right, so they get ready to head to the Queen. Cornelius Abernathy tells them that they have to move in secret because he is a man of high stature. A man of his title will draw attention, and if what they say is true, can never be too careful. He tells the heroes that the Queen has been very sick for some time with the rot. Man, as soon as Carlos said the rot, I just thought of Elden Ring, because I think around the time I was playing Elden Ring, and I was like, that's some dirty stuff right there. Don't want to be messing with that rot. But they start heading out, going towards the Queen's castle. Adalia casts Detect Thoughts on the Cornelius Abernathy just to see if he's on the up and up on the level. She finds out that, he's just sad about his daughter dying. And he's kind of like angry at Zeos. They head to the palace. It is an amazing palace of royalty, high stature. There's a lot of like artwork and gold and all this stuff. So it looks like somebody very important lives in this castle. More math with Carlos. I will always shout out math with Carlos because math is important and math is fun. They walk into the Queen's throne room. She looks young and frail. I forget what race she was. She might be Crystalborn. I don't know. I think that was just something anyway. I forget what race she is, but Cornelius Abernathy tells her of Zeos' traitorousness plots. She kind of listens to him, and he then says, well, if you don't just hear from me, I brought these people here to help explain. The group walks up and they begin to explain. And here is where Carlos decides to do like a fun little like roll-off challenge. So they're going to roll their persuasion or try to convince the Queen with their whatever they're going to say. Then the Queen's going to roll and see if she believes them. And it's just kind of like a little series of challenges, and the average wins. Up first is Adalia. She explains what's going on as a resident of Northwatch. Then she asks for permission this time to cast Major Image. She gets a nat 20 on her persuasion, and the Queen. I'm always going to call out nat 20s, but I don't usually call out numbers. So she gets a nat 20. The Queen doesn't do too well. Ferric is up next, and he ends up casting Suggestion on everybody who's there, the guards, I think, the maximum amount of people that he can do. And while singing, he's trying to convince the queen, like, Zeos is coming. He's here to destroy stuff. He's here to, like, tear things down. He's knocking at your door. I honestly want to turn that into a song. I was thinking about that, and I was just like, nah. But next up is Mirage. He steps up and he spins a lie. He's like, Zeos, my family, we harbored a crystalborn, and he found out, and they killed her and shut down our family's shop, and just like, he spun this lie so fast. I mean, like, leave it to Mirage. And everybody rolled really well trying to convince the queen, and God, it was so good that we didn't have to worry about, like, did she believe them or not? Up next was Pickles, and oh my God, she walked up. She was like, listen, lady, here's a dead crystalborn. Fix this shit. And then she walked off. She didn't exactly say that, but that's basically what she did. The queen starts to think that they have a good argument, a good case against Zeos. She's starting to believe them. Christopher steps up to say something, and I remember when I originally listened to this episode, it made me so upset. Christopher steps up to say something. He's been with them long as anybody else. He's actually been in Zeos' cage, prison. He's mind controlled by Zeos. But he goes up to say something, and Ambrose is like, no, you don't get to say anything. Like, why doesn't Christopher get to say anything? And then what Ambrose said was just kind of like, please believe us. That's what I felt like he said. He was just like, please believe us. But he did roll a nat 20, so it worked out. But I felt the type of way because they didn't let Christopher speak. And that was the whole thing back to the original when they got in a fight, is how they treated Christopher. I'm like, he is a very important person in this party. What he had to say could have been just as good as Ambrose's nat 20. So I was just kind of upset like that. I was like, give the boy a chance. You guys already did really well. You guys are like, it's like when the football coach, you guys are stomping them. It's 21-0. Then they're like, put in the C team, put in the third string, just let them have some fun. You guys could have let Christopher have some fun. But anyway, Ambrose steps up. He says some words. He basically says, Zeos is coming. You should help us. He gets a nat 20. And then the queen's like, Zeos is coming. We should help. The queen rules against Zeos and deems him a traitor and sentences him to death. Like, he don't even get to tell his side. As she speaks these words, something begins to happen. Her body falls down to the ground and crumbles. That's why I thought she was a crystalborn. But I think it was just whatever Zeos did to her and the rot she has. And behind her stands Zeos with the evil smile on his face. Bad guy speech time. Carlos does an excellent bad guy speech time. Bad guy does a speech. Then he lets the heroes respond. Each I think everybody said it had a response. And this was one of the favorite Ambrose line, and I think this is where if you're in the Discord, Ambrose does a meme every week when Power Word Fail starts up. And I think this is where this started, because he says a favorite line that Zeos, I'm gonna curve stomp your skull in. And everybody in the Discord talked about it for like 2 weeks. But yeah, so we roll for initiative. And as they roll for initiative, Ferric calls the guards to fight. Austin's like, hey, aren't the guards supposed to be fighting? I mean, they here, the queen just died, and they're still suggested upon. So the guards get thrown into the fight too. Let me roll down my notes. First up, we have Ambrose. he has with his 2 attacks. One, I think you have 2 or 3. I'm not sure. Ambrose, do you have 2 or 3 attacks? It's a good way to find out if he's listening. But yeah, Ambrose, he one of them hits and then he backs up. Ferrex is up next and he casts heat metal on Zeos and he just doesn't care. During this fight, great background music is going on. There's very, very good background music. It is setting the scene. Pickles is up. She rages and gets large, and then she punches Zeos straight in the face. And then Spunkles gets an attack, and he bites at Zeos. Zeos is up, his actual turn. He misses Pickles twice, and he hits her for a 3rd time. She has to make a con save. If not, she is poisoned, but Mirage uses his reaction. He uses some kind of like, I forgot what he called it, but to help her out. Mirage is up, and he asks for the Prince's strength and hexes Zeos. Then he casts bottle rockets. I think that's his equivalent to either magic missiles or firebolt. Zeos casts dispelled magic on himself to get rid of whatever the heroes did to him with his legendary action. Adalia is up. Katie does a great descriptor here, which she really does. She really does a good job of like putting the image of what her spells look like in your head. She casts slow and backs up. Zeos uses a legendary action to hit Pickles. Christopher is up and he uses Firebolt. Carlos is good at math again. Calculate that damage. Zeos uses another legendary action and moves out of the way. It's kind of like he floats a little bit. The guard rushes in and spear attacks Zeos. Some of them miss, some of them hit. Back to Ambrose, back to the top of the initiative order. He runs to Adalia and takes the mind sharpener and runs it to Ferric. Then takes his shots. Ambrose. Ambrose takes the shot. Pew, pew, pew. Zeos uses mass suggestions on the guard, but Lawyer Ferric, attorney at law, points out that you can't be under the same spell twice, and they force Carlos to waste that spell slot. Ferric is up next, and he casts Heat Metal again, trying to get Zeos to burn through these spell slots. Zeos uses another legendary action and casts a Dark Fireball, hitting Ferric, Pickles, Spunkles, and the guards. And the guards are immediately incinerated. Ferric is stressed by the fire, but Ferric is able to pull himself together with the callings of his friends. Carlos did get Ferric Austin to roll on something, and I thought it was going to be like, is he having a panic attack? Which I think Ferric got a nat 1, but that could have been for the fireball, and he just called it late. I'm not sure, because I was like, oh, Ferric's about to have a panic attack. He got a nat 1, and then they were just like, he just kind of like talked himself through it, and I was like, okay, no big deal. Ferric doesn't have to... Oh, wait. Pickles is up. She uses second wind to get some health back after being hit with that fireball, and she grapples Zeos. Ferric doesn't have to concentrate on heat metal since he was given the mind sharpener. And Pickles... Spunkles, she sends Spunkles to... She sends Spunkles to help Ferric. Zeos is up, and he summons 3 undead dragons. And now he looks at the group with an evil smile and says, I will no longer hold back. And that is where the episode ends. I've been waiting for it. Combat. And this combat was great. It's like... Big bad guy finally shows up, does something epic. The group has to fight them. And there's good bosses have phases, and they just took out phase 1, and he summoned his undead horde, and it's about to get real, because it's already real, but they beat the first wave. Now they got to beat the second phase of the boss. But this was a great episode. Had a lot of fun with it. Carlos with his persuasion challenges, talking to the queen. Um, the resourcefulness of the group of Ferric using mass suggestion, Ambrose with the mind sharpener, because that came in handy. Because when he got hit by that fireball, he would have dropped heat metal. And I think that might come up later, but it was just an awesome episode. I don't think there was nothing I don't like about it. I remember when I first listened to this episode, and that queen, when like how Carlos laid out that path of how the queen died or just turned to stone, I was just like, oh man, he's there. I did not expect Zeos to be there. And the which I mean, this is for like tomorrow's episode, but it was like, how did he get there? And which everybody, this is a question that's been asked since this episode came out, and it's always been an answer of magic. But this is an episode. The combat, the phase one of the combat is great. Leading up to the combat, how the story has been going and the role play was going, the creative ideas was going, has been great. The music for the combat was great. This episode, I have no complaints. This episode is 10 hit dice out of 10. Woo, woo. I can't yell because I live in an apartment, so I want to yell, but this episode was real good. And plus it's late at night, so I don't want to be that guy. But this episode was real good. 10 hit dice out of 10 from everybody. The only gripe I had was letting Christopher talk, but I feel like that was more of a role play thing, because they told Christopher to shut up, and I just got so mad. I was just like, let the boy have his time to shine. Great episode. That's all I have to say. Hands down, one of the I think this is the second 10 I've given them. Maybe the third if you count session 0. Yeah, this episode was perfect. This goes on my tier list of great episodes from Power Word Fail. And that's it. Just remember, you are loved, you are important, and you matter. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, you want me to do any content, hopefully, nope, I said I wasn't gonna say that this time. It's, but eventually we'll start doing some of the other shows when we catch up. We will I've been talking to Faye about sanity damage. So if you're watching this, convince her to do reviews on sanity damage, and it'll be great. All right. As always, thanks for tuning in to Miles TV. Bye.